This interview is for information only and should not be considered as investment advice or a recommendation to buy shares in the company featured. Welcome to this Stock Box interview.
Joining us today is Mark Sale, the CEO of First Class Metals, following news that the company has entered into discussions with 79th Resources Limited, which may result in the disposal of certain FCM properties. Well, thank you for joining us today. Mark, how are you, first of all?
I'm good, but I realise I have to do something about the library. It's looking a bit unordered, so I'll have to spend some time in the evening hours ordering the books. But yes, I'm good, thank you, and I'm delighted with the RNS that's gone out. I think this is a pivotal moment for FCM, and one of the main things it does, of course, is potentially crystallizes our business model, and that is to identify greenfield opportunities, advance them, value add them, de-risk them, and then monetize them.
Right. Okay. But I wonder if we can just talk a little bit about who these guys are, first of all. I mean, you mentioned there in the RNS that the interest confirms the belief that the current market capitalization does not fully reflect the value of the properties in the portfolio or indeed the potential to deliver. So, I mean, how has this deal come about and who are 79th Resources?
Well, James and I met with the 79th Group and their board, and the president is Dave Webster. He's a dynamic man. At one stage, I think he was one of the largest rent-to-buy landlords in England, and okay. that's where he initially made his money. And then he sort of took retirement because he had all the financial assets he required. Then that didn't suit him because, as I say, Dave is very dynamic. I mean, you're in the room with him and it's just go, go, go. So then he went off to West Africa, to Guinea, with his two sons, and they started doing artisan mining, gold mining, and were very, very successful at that. And Dave got the gold bug, shall we say. So now they're developing the 79th Group is developing 79th Resources as a resource-focused company. And as you saw in the RNS, they're going to IPO. And they felt that like they wanted I won't say credibility, but they wanted a little bit more sort of higher profile than just West African gold assets. So they looked at FCM, they liked us, we met with them, they liked the team, I liked the way that James and I work. So, yes, that's how it came about. And they've said, look, we would like to review your properties. So what we've done is we've populated a data room with 5 of our properties, both core and non-core properties. I won't name which ones. And they are reviewing that with the intention of making us an offer of one or more of those properties. The outline commercial terms have been put on the table, so there's no surprises in that regard, but obviously the negotiations are yet to ensue. But as I said right at the beginning, Mark, I'm really so pleased that this is now crystallizing, as I say, proving our business model, because we've been noticed, the caliber of our properties has been acknowledged, the work we've done on them, advancing them, has been complemented by this approach.
Okay. Well, thank you for that, Mark, and thanks for explaining that they because I did look on their website there, and they do say they're West Africa focused, but want to, as you've said, diversify, and they're attracted to some of the projects that you have. You've just said you can't name them, but I mean the ONS is extremely vague there. It may result in disposal of some assets, and you've said core and non-core. You can't say which ones. Can you perhaps suggest what a deal might look like or how discussions might go?
They're looking for purchase, not an earning. They want to review the 5 properties that we've populated the data room with, and they'll come back to us and say, we would like A and B, or A, B and C. There's 5 in there which we would be happy to divest from our portfolio
at
at the right price. But whilst I'm not going to name the properties, what I would say, or what I am prepared to say, Mark, under interrogation, is that we have kicked off the field season already in Ontario. What we are doing is we've started with a review of the Sunbeam core. You might recall in one of our previous RNSs on Sunbeam, we mentioned the fact that the porphyry, which hosts the gold-bearing structure, had up to 5 grams gold in it. So we were reviewing the historic core with an idea to resample the host, shall we say. And we're also preparing to go back to North Hemlo to do some work at North Hemlo. And North Hemlo will form the focus of our field campaign this season. We have a permit, as you're aware, so we will do some stripping around the 19 grammer, leading up to a modest drill program during this field season. We will also obviously be looking at an initial activities on the 3 new properties that we've acquired: the Quinlan Lithium, the McInnes Lake Gold and Lithium, as well as Kerr's Gold play over in Timmins.
Okay, so you will continue to be active in the field season, but any of the projects really is on the cards here for, as you say, a full disposal. So looking to fully crystallise that out of the business and bring in cash into the company to advance the project, presumably, that are left.
Yes, well, I've always said exploration is like a conveyor belt. So we identify greenfield opportunities like Quinlan, like McInnes Lake. We put them on the conveyor belt. We value add to them by exploration, and then the for sale sign comes on, or joint venture sign comes on. So if we are going to do a deal with 79 Resources on one or more of our properties, then we need to replace it. And that's why we've taken advantage of these other deals, such as, I say, Quinlan and McInnes Lake, so that we can replace anything that we might sell. And of course, a sale, sorry to interrupt, of course, a sale is a far better way of funding than going out to the market, because it's non-dilutive. And as I say, it confirms our business model, and it confirms the confidence that the market, the world, the investors have in our activities, as did, of course, the granting of the OJEP fund by the Ontario government. Again, another big accolade for First Class and its team, supported by Emerald Geological Services.
Mm-hmm. So it's that conveyor belt, that business model there of exploring and then basically making a case to sell that project and effectively rinse and repeat. You've got to, if you could prove that model to the market with what might be to come following this announcement here. I mean, you say about you've got a data room there. I wonder if you could explain a little bit more about what's happening in real terms here. What is a data room, and how long would you expect due diligence to be taken part on from both parties, and then a potential further news to come, or indeed that outright outcome that you want?
A data room is in Esquel days, it was a physical room with lots of reports in it. Now it's a virtual room with links to 5 subfolders, one for each of the 5 properties. And in those folders, we have all the assessment reports, we have some of the historical government reports, and our field activities, the assays from last year's field campaign. So it's just a bibliography, if you like, of the data that has been amassed by First Class, by EGS on each of those 5 properties.
Right, okay. And what's going on, in terms of the process, Yeah,
you rolled a few questions in there just to trip me up. But the how long the process will take, well, obviously there's a lot of information on the 5 properties, so it's not going to be overnight that they can assess those. So I would anticipate we're looking at a couple of weeks for them to review all the data. And then, yes, the negotiations on whichever ones they choose to take forward will recommence.
And are you completely agnostic, or would you rather hold on to your favourite child, your favourite project?
No, in this game, you can't fall in love with a project, and everything has a price. It's just a case of whether one agrees on the price. But as I said earlier, we were going to be pushing forward with the 19 gram and the dead otter trend on North Hemlo. So as you can surmise, that one's not on the table at the moment.
Right. Well, thank you very much for your time today, Mark Sale, the CEO of First Class Metals, and let's see what this announcement brings in the future.
Thank you, Mark. Yes, and look forward to our next encounter.
If you enjoyed this interview, then give us a thumbs up, a like or a retweet. Subscribe to us on YouTube or follow us on Twitter and hit that notification bell to be the first to know when we release new content. There's loads of great content on our website too, across all our programs at stockboxmedia.com. Thank you for watching.